hell's going on out there?
It's not just Drake, damn it! I'm telling you, this island is cursed!
Oh no! Oh God, no!
We're trapped!
Jesus, what is that? A thing of such great evil must never leave these shores.
Tommy! Holy shit!
We're dead! We're all dead!
My God, if that thing gets off the island, may he have mercy on this unholy place. Francis Drake.
The Uncharted franchise has taken us all over the world in search for treasures that were kept buried away from mankind for centuries, all lost to time for good reason, since most of these treasures were cursed with what could have brought the end of humanity, had it not have been for the adventures of a familiar group of, well,
explorers, adventurers, mostly thieves.
But as with every other curse, how long until something once thought forgotten found its way out? What would happen to mankind then? For this video, we'll be going back to a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Buckle up, ladies and gents. We're in for some twists and turns.
Or does the island have darker secrets in store for us?
Before we begin, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. You're watching PythonSelkan. In Uncharted Drake's Fortune, we see treasure hunter Nathan Drake embarking on a journey in the footsteps of Sir Francis Drake, a famous English explorer who was awarded knighthood by the Queen of England in the 16th century, and whose explorations ultimately led him to the lost treasure of El Dorado.
Of course. El Dorado, the Golden Man. Sully, it wasn't a city of gold. It was this. It was a golden idol.
Man, can you imagine what that thing would be worth now?
A large golden sarcophagus that raised Sir Francis Drake's interest so much as to fake his own death in search for what could have been one of his greatest discoveries.
Nate?
It's Drake. He never found it. He just died here.
However, Sir Francis did manage to find the lost treasure, and what he found with it was an unexpected turn of events, as the treasure he gave up everything for brought a terrible curse.
And look here, these people, they're worshipping the damn thing. At least, I think they're people.
A curse so dangerous, which Sir Francis realized must never leave the island, leading him to drown the cursed city and destroy all the ships in the harbor in an effort to stop everyone from sailing away. The very same curse that led to Drake's unfortunate demise.
The gold of El Dorado bears a terrible curse. The Spaniards have unleashed hell, become as demons. My men have all been murdered, leaving the task to me alone. No ship will depart this island. I destroyed them all and drowned the cursed city. A thing of such great evil must never leave these shores. In my final hour, I commend my soul to God. May he have mercy on this unholy place. Francis Drake. My God.
It's magnificent.
As Shakespeare had said, all that glisters is not gold. Inside the golden sarcophagus lay a mummified corpse that emitted an infectious smoke of sorts, turning anyone who inhaled it into a deadly zombie-like infected. A curse that could devastate mankind if it ever stepped foot onto populated lands. Speaking of infected, remember Naughty Dog's other blockbuster series, The Last of Us?
Tommy! Holy shit!
In this franchise, mankind is ravaged by an outbreak caused by a mutated strain of the cordyceps fungus, a parasitic fungal infection that attacks the brain and spreads fungal growth over most of the victim's body, transforming its human hosts into the various stages of mindlessly aggressive infected, which most of you came to know as clickers, runners, and other terminologies. The origin of this fungus is said to have evolved in South America, where a mutation of the cordyceps seems to have spread to humans through infected crops.
Don't come alive.
In real-life scenario, the cordyceps fungus in itself is only fatal to living insects rather than humans. Now, to better understand how this parasitic fungus works, we can look at the bizarre phenomenon behind the so-called zombie ants. Just another day in a tropical forest where this fungus is found, an ant may come across a fungal spore that would stick to its body, slipping a fungal cell inside. The fungus then hijacks the insect's body through chemical interference in the brain, causing the infected ant to behave in ways that is favorable to the fungus's growth, such as to spread its spores and therefore continue to reproduce. As the ant dies, its shriveled corpse is seemingly turned into a bioweapon, as the dead ant's head would be used to release toxic spores into the air, infecting more unsuspecting ants. Sounds like some kind of zombie apocalypse, doesn't it? That's because the concept behind it is quite similar to what we are seeing in The Last of Us. Only in The Last of Us, the cordyceps itself is said to be further mutated by a certain virus, resulting in a strain that could also infect humans, rather than just insects.
You know, I read a story once about a cursed Inca treasure. We don't suppose that...
Please don't tell me you believe in that stuff.
I'm just saying. Something bad happened here. The whole colony doesn't just up and vanish.
Yeah.
Now when it comes to Uncharted, even though the game never really clarifies what the cause behind the El Dorado mutation was, and only calls it a curse, Naughty Dog co-president Evan Wells tells us that mystical elements don't necessarily have a supernatural explanation, and that the idea was that there was a virus trapped inside a mummified corpse within the sarcophagus.
The real treasure of El Dorado lies inside.
That thing wiped out an entire colony. You don't know what you're doing.
Now, as fans of the Uncharted series may remember, Drake's fortune ended with the El Dorado sarcophagus being taken off the island, as Navarro planned to sell it as a weapon on the black market.
Do you have any idea what this is worth? To the right buyer?
Only Nathan Drake managed to stop him in time, causing Navarro, along with the sarcophagus and the so-called curse, to sink to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. This means that at the end of Drake's fortune, a deadly virus that once ended an entire colony of Spaniards, and many who came after it, ended up in the waters of the Pacific Ocean, specifically somewhere off the coast of Peru. Ring any bells?
The Esperanza sailed from Callao, Peru, carrying 800 bars of gold, 1,200 silver.
Tiny island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
That's right. Peru is located in South America, the very same continent where the mysterious outbreak in The Last of Us is said to have originated, following the fungus's mutation with a certain virus that has spread to humans through contaminated crops imported from those areas. Sounds fishy, doesn't it?
It'll stink like fish for a week.
If you're enjoying this video so far, we'd massively appreciate a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel as we present detailed analysis and theories for the best games and movies out there. The deadly fungus in The Last of Us' timeline started to spread in the United States towards the closing months of 2013. Meanwhile, even though a calendar in the game seems to show the year 2015, Naughty Dog themselves have confirmed that Uncharted 4: A Thief's End takes place 3 years after Uncharted 3, making it somewhere along the lines of the year 2013. Which means that as Drake's journey came to an end, the mutated fungus in The Last of Us started to spread in the United States. In fact, a newspaper spotted in the opening sequence of Uncharted 3, apart from being an interesting Easter egg, may also show that during those events, making it 3 years prior to the outbreak in The Last of Us, scientists were already, quote, still struggling to understand deadly fungus, obviously meant as a reference to the same deadly fungus that would later cause the outbreak in The Last of Us. Speaking of the fungus, in the 12th chapter of Uncharted 4, called At Sea, if the player goes underwater next to the sunken ship, we can actually see a skeletal corpse with what seems to be a fungus-shaped aquatic plant on its head, meant to resemble the clickers we all know from The Last of Us. While this may be a neat little reference to Naughty Dog's other hit franchise, it is interesting to note how this particular clicker reference was specifically hidden underwater, potentially meant as symbolism for something else that went underwater at the end of Uncharted Drake's fortune. Now, there have been numerous connections suggesting both Uncharted and The Last of Us could be set in the same universe, and we're not talking about the generic Easter eggs one can expect to find in another game series by the same developer, but rather connections that may very well suggest both franchises could indeed be sharing the same world.
Okay. Up here.
One example is a particular medicine bottle, which young Nate comes across during the flashback scenes in Uncharted 4. The label on the medicine bottle, Weston's Pharmacy, holds the same name as the pharmacy Ellie comes across in The Last of Us Left Behind.
Weston's Pharmacy. That sounds promising.
In The Last of Us Part 2, Weston's Pharmacy makes another appearance, this time at a different location. In a similar scenario, in The Last of Us Left Behind, Ellie may also come across a particular food shop called Macho Nacho. In Uncharted 4, we can actually hear a discussion between Nate and Elena, during which Elena states that she used to work at a Macho Nacho during her high school days.
What, the producer on your TV show?
No, my manager from Macho Nacho.
You worked at a Macho Nacho?
It was a high school job.
Did you wear one of those hats?
While these places aren't necessarily of relevance or iconic for either franchise to be categorized as references, it is interesting to see how these appearances, even though subtle, all seem to suggest a hidden connection of sorts. And these connections don't stop there. In The Last of Us, Ellie talks to Joel about a comic she loves that goes by the name of Savage Starlight, stating that the only problem with it was that its story was yet to be continued in a future sequel.
To be continued. I hate cliffhangers.
Where did you get that?
The sequel to that same comic is shown as coming soon on a poster found in Cassie's room, Nathan and Elena's daughter in later years, as can be seen during the epilogue sequence of Uncharted 4 at Eve's End. Speaking of Uncharted 4's ending, where do you think would be the best place to live if all hell broke loose? Than on a far-off land, away from everyone and everything. Could this be the very reason why Nate and his family were living in this location several years after Uncharted 4? Coincidence? We'll leave it for you to decide. Now, despite the Uncharted Lost Legacy spin-off not being very clear on which year it takes place, what we do know is that Lost Legacy is set after the events of Uncharted 4, and Chloe's phone actually shows the date Thursday, July 18th, which could be hinting at the year in which the game takes place. And according to our calendars, July 18th happening on a Thursday could either be in the year 2019, or in fact much closer to Uncharted 4, in the year 2013 itself, which would align with Naughty Dog's original statement that Uncharted 4 takes place in 2013, 3 years after Drake's inception. And let's say the timeline in The Last of Us isn't the same as the one in Uncharted. Could the events in The Last of Us actually be a depiction of the aftermath that could have happened if Nathan failed at the end of Drake's fortune and Navarro managed to escape with the virus inside the El Dorado sarcophagus? Perhaps in an alternate universe of sorts. Makes it all fun to think about. Whether or not any of this is true, keep in mind theories are just theories, and they're in no way meant to change the way you look at these amazing franchises. Having said that, we'd love to hear what you think about all this. Could Uncharted and The Last of Us truly be set in the same universe? Or could all these connections be hinting towards a what-if scenario in an alternate timeline? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below.
Boat's ready, wind is just right. You want to continue the story? I say we do it on the water. Come on.
Well, wait, what'd Francis Drake look like? Was it gross?
Actually, he wasn't in there. Yeah, just his journal with a map to El Dorado.
The City of Gold?
That's the legend. Turns out it was just a statue. A cursed statue.
No way, seriously?
Yeah, seriously. But I'll get back to that.
Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more exciting theories for your favorite games and movies, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our upcoming videos. We'll make sure to return the favor with content you won't find anywhere else. Thank you for watching. Until we meet again, be careful what you wish for.
It might just get you.
PythonSelkan, out.